Double-digit thousands.
When you ask people who the greatest shooter of all time is, most will say Ray Allen. But in this video, I'm going to show you why Steph Curry is a far superior shooter, and how he will quickly surpass Ray Allen and end his career as the greatest shooter ever. So, here's a list of the players in the top 10 most made three-point field goals. As you can see, Allen is number 1 and Curry is number 10. These are the 10 players on my short list because it's tough to be the best of all time and not be in the top 10 in this category. Another important criteria to consider is career three-point shooting percentage. The current league average on three-pointers is 36%. In my opinion, the best shooter of all time has to be at least average, so we can ignore Jamal Crawford and Jason Kidd. On top of that, I'm going to say you need to shoot over 39% to be considered the best shooter ever. So we can eliminate Jason Terry, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, and Joe Johnson too. Now we are left with Allen, Curry, Kyle Korver, and Reggie Miller as our final four. Working with these four, we need more information to differentiate. Let's add how many seasons they've played and see how old they are, or how old they were when they retired. You should immediately see that Curry has played just 8 seasons in the NBA, which is 6 fewer than Korver and 10 seasons fewer than both Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. Steph Curry is simply way ahead of schedule in terms of climbing up this list. Let's see roughly how long it will be before Steph takes the number 1 spot on this list. Since the 2012-2013 season, Steph has averaged at least 3 three-pointers per game. Here are his total threes made in those previous seasons. Because the current season isn't over, I can't say how many he will make this season, but it's simple enough to project roughly where he will finish this year. As of today, Steph Curry has 1,878 threes total, and Ray Allen has 2,973. Therefore, Curry has to make 1,095 threes for the rest of his career to finish above Ray Allen. Let's assume he will make about 300 three-pointers per season with Durant, which is a conservative estimate because he will probably end with more this season. Scenario number 1 is that Kevin Durant re-signs when he becomes a free agent after next season. Steph makes about 300 threes per season when he plays with Durant. If we project that estimate out a couple of seasons, we can see that Curry will pass Ray Allen at number 1 on the all-time three-pointers made list during the 2020-2021 NBA season. The second scenario is that Kevin Durant does not re-sign with the Warriors after next year, and Curry is left with a similar team to what he had the year before. In this scenario, Curry will probably make about 350 threes per season because he will get more attempts from 3 like he did last year. If that is the case, Curry will pass Allen even earlier in the 2020-2021 NBA season, and he will finish with 3,228 threes. Even if Curry's production goes down because of injuries or just general aging after the 2021 season, he will only be 32 years old at that time. To put that in perspective, when Ray Allen turned 32, it was 2007 and he had just left the Seattle Supersonics to join the Boston Celtics. Looking at the original list, most of the former elite shooters played until they were 38 or 39 years old. That gives Curry about 10 more seasons to surpass Allen on the list. But, as you saw before, he's likely to pass Allen within the next 4 seasons. Even averaging just 110 threes per season, which is what Marc Gasol will finish with this year, that's an additional 1,100 threes for Curry, which would be enough to pass Ray Allen on the top 10 list. Therefore, barring a career-ending injury, Curry will become the all-time leading three-point shooter, and by a long way. When that happens, he will be the undisputable greatest shooter of all time. But there's something else that makes Curry even more spectacular. Think about how tightly he is guarded on a night-to-night basis. An opposing team's whole game plan against Golden State is to stop Curry from getting open threes. Yet, he still gets his shots off from 3 every game, and most of these are contested. Watch just one Warriors game, and you'll see him take threes either at full speed with a hand in his face, or from 3 feet beyond the three-point line. Very few players in NBA history have played like that because they've never needed to. Curry is a small guard with below average length and athleticism. he can't succeed by physically dominating opponents like Russell Westbrook does, so he has to ensure that he takes and makes lots of threes. Even Ray Allen did not face such pressure to shoot threes. He was larger and more athletic, and after he moved to Boston and then to Miami, he was never the first option on a team. In fact, he was the third option on many of his teams. Players like LeBron, Wade, and Paul Pierce took the attention of the best defender, and Allen was free to spot up from three and sort of pad his stats against inferior defenders. Reggie Miller, on the other hand, was the primary option on his team for most of his career. But Miller shot a much lower percentage from three than Curry, and he took fewer threes throughout his career because he played in the old school NBA where threes were less important than they are now. At the peak of Miller's career in 1996, the entire league made 14,007 threes. Last year, the NBA made 20,940 in total. If every team in the NBA knows that you're only really good at one thing and they still can't stop you, then you must be even better than the stats suggest. LeBron is known to be very difficult to stop when he drives. Therefore, he receives extra attention when he tries to drive. But LeBron is still successful year after year, despite opponents' efforts to stop him from driving. The same can be said about Curry's shooting. Thanks for watching my first ever voiceover video. I hope you liked it. Please give me a like below if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.